great, because I have no idea what I would do if you said no. I'd just panic and go, oh God. All right, so here we are. We're doing the second half of the show, and they're ready to go and they're ready to rumble. You were magnificent for the first half. You were delightful. You were kind. You were spirited. You were joyous. You were giving. Please do exactly the same for the second half of this magnificent graduation show. We're going to kick it off, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please put your hands together for the first performer of the second bracket, the awesome Donna McGeorge.
Thank you, Fiona, for getting my name right. I just came up on the plane yesterday and get on board and the flight attendant says, welcome, Mrs. McGregor. I'm like, actually, it's McGeorge. And she goes, what? Checks the flight. And I'm like, dude, I know my name. Which, mate, it's really interesting that they say to you, get on a plane, when actually I prefer to get in a plane. I'm like, let the daredevils get on, right? I'm getting in. And apparently about 93% of people actually have some kind of fear or anxiety about flying. Now they're not all, thinking that they're going to die when they get on board, but they are worrying about the little things, will I get my bags in the overhead locker? Am I going to be sitting next to some idiot? And I also think that that's really meaning that they refer to airport buildings as terminals. Because if you think about it, the terminal bit is getting on the plane. And so you've probably all travelled enough to know that they do the safety briefing at the beginning, and the flight attendant says stuff like, if oxygen's needed, a mask will drop from the ceiling and put it on over your nose and mouth and breathe normally. Exactly, right? I'm like, dude, I'm the one that's going to be running up and down the aisles going, we're going to die. It's the plane that's terminal. That other building's a place where you have to take out a small loan just to get a packet of chips. It's criminal, I tell you, the prices at airports. So I'm a fairly frequent flyer. I can always spot the newbies or the new travellers for miles. They're usually the ones on a flight, say, from Sydney to Canberra. They're taking a pillow and a fucking thermos on board with them. It's like, dude, it's only 40 minutes. You'll be good. Seriously. And I'm actually a bit wicked or naughty on flights. You know how they say turn off your phones or put them in flight mode or something? I like to live a little on the wild side. I never do it. I figured if it was that dangerous, they'd take them off you before you got on board. Like they'd confiscate it, like your water bottles and your cigarette lighters and your toenail clippers and flight attendant personalities and but I do like to get on early because I really do like to do the crosswords and the Sudokus in the in-flight magazines, and so I get really bummed when I get on board and someone else has done them and they've done them wrong. And so I like to get on early so I can get in, and in my row I start flicking through all the magazines and make sure that I've got the one that's ready to go and it's in immaculate condition, ready for me to do the work. And so I've done a little bit of work in China, been a little bit of travel in China, and that's where you really see some first-time travellers. So they're the ones getting on the plane and they've got what looks like all the worldly possessions shoved up in the overhead locker. They also get on board with thermoses and tea caddies and stuff like that, and weird-ass snacks like dried scorpion liver or something like that. And what's even funnier is, despite the fact that I'm a bit naughty about leaving my phone on flight and not putting it on flight mode, I still follow other instructions. Like if the seatbelt signs are on, you stay seated until the aircraft comes to a complete stop. Yeah? Not in China. The moment that sucker hits the tarmac, they're up out of their seats, getting their gear out like it's a train, right? So they're getting their gear out, so when it stops, they're going to be right to get off. And seriously, the flight attendants lose their shit over that. So I'm super happy to have friends and family here. I'm delighted. So I just want to shout out to my crew who are here today and thank you all for coming. Like family, right? Can't live with them, can't live without them. Tonight's definitely one of those can't live without them moments. Not so much more recently, when I was hanging out with my mum, who, she's always been really obsessed with weight and looks. And so I think she probably had anorexia undiagnosed before it was even a thing. And so I went to school, and all my school uniforms were always too tight because she used to buy the size that I think she wanted me to be. And she still does that to my sister, by the way. And so I think my sister and I are suffering from fat-shaming PTSD to this day. As you can see, we haven't taken much of that on board. Mum always said that there were 3 reasons why people were overweight. They didn't care, they were lazy, or they had sparkling personalities. You know when someone, she always used to say she's overweight, but she's such a nice personality. And I used to think maybe that's why she was so focused on my weight, was what if I was going to grow up and have a shit personality, so I better be slim, right? So I got a stylist, and she was fascinated by that. And so she comes over and she's asking me about how does it work when you get a stylist. And I said, you know, they come in and they look at your wardrobe. And in my case, they got rid of 2/3 of my wardrobe. And she looks at me and she goes, oh, and they didn't get rid of that. And then she goes, oh, you've had your hair cut short. And I said, yeah, I've had heaps of compliments. And she goes, really? And so then we go shopping, and I'm apologising because it's a busy day, the car park's full, we've had to park a fair distance away, and I'm like, oh, sorry Mum, we couldn't get a bit closer. She goes, that's all right, you could use the exercise. Bless, I know, right? Bless. Seriously, are you done? Are you done with my mum? Yeah, me too. Just recently, I go over, and I'm pretty excited because I've actually lost a bit of weight. And I'm standing there, yeah, thank you. And I'm standing there and I'm going, look at these trousers, Mum, they're too big for me. But I'm not going to make any wholesale changes to my wardrobe just yet. And she goes, well, you've still got a ways to go, really, haven't you? Bless her. So, it's interesting. I think she comes from a long line of fat shamers. My aunts used to come and visit, and they were dying to make a comment like, oh, you look like you've lost weight. That was always a good sign. If you've lost weight, that's a good sign. And so if you hadn't, or you were looking a bit rough, you could see him kind of look at you up and down, trying to find something to comment on. I reckon the best one I got was, oh, don't those shoes make your ankles look slim? But it's not just mums and aunts that are a bit dodgy. If my mum was a fat shamer, my dad was a fart shamer. And he was utterly obsessed with farting, and not in a pull my finger kind of way, but in a, if you happen to let out the teeniest, tiniest little fluff, you'd be sent shamefully to the bathroom. And so I learned over the years to hold it in. And so my husband, after a few years of marriage, said to me, do you ever fart? I've never heard you fart. Hold it in. And it's quite a skill. Particularly useful in public toilets when you're in there, and I've sufficiently learned how to manage the muscles down here so that if I need to pee, I can relax and release the pee, but clench and hold it in the back. You know it, don't you? You know how this works. And so, as I mentioned, I've been to China. And one of the things about China is they drink a lot of tea, and I love tea. Tea's a bit of my thing. And so my mate takes me on this tea tasting tour. And so after a morning of tea tasting and a bladder full of tea, I need to pee. Now in China, they don't have regular toilets. They have the squats, which apparently uses a whole other set of muscles. And so as I squat to release the tea, I let out the biggest, loudest, longest fart It was a lifetime of gas saved up. Thank you.